We crashed on the way to sign the divorce papers. My lifelong rival and I both lost our memories. When we woke up, everyone told us we were a blissfully in love married couple. I glanced at the gorgeous face in the next bed and thought, jackpot. Then one day my memories suddenly came flooding back. Furious, I marched to his headquarters to serve the divorce papers, only to overhear his best friend teasing, Julian, are you addicted to faking amnesia? When are you going to confess to your wife? He flicked his lighter, smirked. You wouldn't understand, married couple roleplay. I froze on the spot. So he'd been playing me for a fool all along. Riley, I took my revenge that very night. Before we go on, subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening. I opened my eyes to several giant faces hovering over me. She's awake. Call Dr. Hayes, a woman shrieked. I stared, dazed, my gaze clear but clueless. Do you know me? The room exchanged stunned looks. Now they were the ones lost. Serena, I'm Eleanor Vance, your mom. You don't remember? The elegant woman asked, voice cracking. I shook my head. Dr. Hayes arrived quickly. A preliminary exam blamed the amnesia on brain bruising from the car crash. Recovery, weeks, maybe months. I accepted it calmly. Everyone introduced themselves at once. Serena, I'm Richard Vance, your dad. Serena, I'm Margaret Vance, your mother-in-law. Serena, Charles Vance, your father-in-law. I glanced left and met the exact same lost stare from the next bed. Lower, devastatingly handsome face. Hospital gown loose, yet nothing could hide those sharp features. Paleness only amplified the beauty. One look and you could practically get pregnant. I was doomed, head over heels. Mom, who is he? I blushed. She hesitated. Julian, your husband. You crashed together. He woke 2 hours earlier, amnesia too. Wait, husband? A man this hot? Jackpot times 2. I couldn't wipe the grin off my face. Hubby, I cooed. His eyes bulged, thunderstruck. Everyone froze. Was the word wrong? Were we not close? I asked. My mother-in-law recovered first. Childhood frenemies turned childhood sweethearts, closer than ever after the wedding. Chorus of nods, absolutely. You two were wrapped around each other when the paramedics arrived. Relief flooded me. I slid off my bed, rolled straight into his. Plenty of space in a VIP room. I clutched his arm, nuzzled his chest. I like you so much, hubby. Julian went rigid, ears flaming. So bashful, adorable. I felt a warm hand settle on my back, pulling me closer. Me too, wifey. We snuggled while the adults beamed and tiptoed out. 3 days later we were discharged. First night home. I wore next to nothing, preening at the foot of the bed. Julian's body was insane. I'd accidentally brushed his abs every hospital dressing change. I wanted more, but how to ask? Who'd taken the lead before? My thoughts scattered as the shower cut off. He stepped out, bare-chested, towel riding low, hair damp, droplets skating over carved planes, slipping past the V-line into the towel, pure temptation on legs. He approached, my pulse spiked. I swallowed, fisting the sheets. I'm ready, hubby. Eyes shut, smile ready. Seconds passed, nothing. I popped one eye open. Julian lay properly on his side, grinning. I blinked. I'd thrown myself at him and he was, chill? Did madly in love translate to hands off? Fine, fortune favors the bold. I leaned in, palm on his shoulder. He tensed, eyes darkening, Adam's apple bobbing as he seized my waist. 3 minutes later, his low voice grazed my ear. Another 3 and I gasped. We stared at each other, wide-eyed. Is this normal? Awkward silence. He flushed, about to apologize. I waved it off. I get it. Forgot the playbook, classic amnesia. He exhaled, then bit his lip. You're not disappointed? My heart melted. My awkward prince. Never. Love you most. He kissed me. Love you most too. We fell asleep in each other's arms. Next morning he was gone. Harrison said he'd left for the office at dawn. Apparently his recovery was on fast forward. Even though the amnesia had wiped everything else clean, he could still reel off every last detail of the company's balance sheet. I, on the other hand, only remembered that I used to be the ruthless queen of the boardroom, yet now a single glance at a spreadsheet made my temples throb. With nothing better to do, I asked Mrs. to cook a few of his favorite dishes so I could drop them off later. After I'd dressed up especially for the occasion, the chauffeur drove me to his headquarters. When I arrived, I gave the receptionist a soft smile. Hi, is Julian in his office? The receptionist looked as though she'd seen a ghost, Her words came out in stammers. Miss Vance, are you looking for the younger Mr. Vance? I'm bringing him lunch. I lifted the thermal toad in my hand and gave it a little wave. He's here. Cameron, oh, and from now on Mrs. Vance sounds better, okay? I clacked across the lobby in my heels and stepped into the elevator. Unbeknownst to me, the staff chat at Vance was already exploding with gossip. Julian was still in a meeting, so I settled into his office to wait. Just then a woman in a sharp black and white skirtsuit walked in, arms folded like she owned the place. A stranger might have mistaken her for the lawful wife. I looked her up and down, and it clicked. Oh, right, my lifelong rival, Bianca. She wants my husband and fights me every chance she gets. For some reason Julian had hired her as his executive assistant. Serena, have you no shame? You're divorced from Dylan and still clinging to him. I stared, totally blank. Divorced? Who? The hell? How vicious do you have to be to curse someone with divorce? I glared up at her and slapped her across the face. Watch your mouth, we're happier than ever, Bianca shrieked, cupping her reddened cheek. You hit me. I'm telling Dylan. Before she finished, she swung her other fist at me. The blow never landed. A long, elegant hand shot out and locked around her wrist so hard she yelped. Try touching her, see what happens. Damn, so hot. Dylan, she hit me first. Julian flung her arm away, sending her stumbling. I barely know you. From now on it's Mr. Vance. Get lost. Ouch, even I felt that. Clutching her bruised pride and backside, Bianca scurried out. Does your hand hurt, sweetheart? Julian knelt in front of me, trying to massage my palm. I jerked away, pouting. Do you even love me anymore? He scooped me onto his lap at once. Baby, you're the only one I love. Then why is she your assistant? I've got amnesia, remember? No idea how she got hired, but I'm firing her right now. Fine, I'll let it slide. Put me down. I wriggled, but his arms stayed locked around me, eyes fixed on mine. I swallowed, suddenly nervous. 2 hours later. How could anyone improve this much overnight? He wore a satisfied smirk as he adjusted his collar and went back to his monitor. My face burned. When I finally stood, my legs felt like cotton. Terrifying. A month slipped by. My memories had mostly returned. I could work normally again. Only the part about Julian stayed blank. That morning I bounded downstairs to share the good news. His chopsticks clattered to the floor, his smile froze. Honey, you don't look happy. Is it because I still can't remember you? No, I'm thrilled. Did anything about me come back? Nothing. Okay. An awkward silence fell. Something felt off. Julian wiped his mouth. By the way, I've got a trip to the next city, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. Sure, I'll pack for you. After he left, life felt out of tune. No one to eat with. No one to scrub my back. Worst of all, no human hot water bottle in bed. Alone in the cold sheets, my imagination went wild. 3 days in, he hadn't initiated a single message. Mine took him 3 or 4 hours to answer. I told myself he was busy. Unless, he was keeping some woman on the side? Bianca, maybe? The more I thought, the crazier I felt, so I video called him on the spot. He picked up instantly. The screen filled with his unfairly gorgeous face. The camera dipped, his bathrobe hung loose, half slipped off one shoulder, revealing carved collarbones. I swallowed, desire prickling. He averted his eyes, just for a second, but I caught it. My heart chilled. Julian, are you hiding a woman over there? He blinked, stunned. What? You're the only woman in my life. Prove it, flip the camera. I made him pan over every corner, no trace of anyone. His assistant even sent me the schedule, packed solid, no room for cheating. My panic finally settled. Julian lounged back on the sofa and lazily untied his belt. What sprang into view, hard chest, etched abs, made emptiness flood me all over again. He obeyed every command I gave through the lens. Minutes later, the heat in my cheeks still hadn't faded. I counted each day until his return. At last, on the final evening, I texted him eagerly. His dead serious reply popped up. Mingyo or Ili? I'll have my assistant pick some up. Me, earnestly picking out a nightgown asterisk? I was officially out of ideas. I was so mad I didn't bother answering him. I waited all morning and still no sign of Julian. Instead, an uninvited guest showed up at the door. It was Bianca. The corner of her mouth curled. Serena, so you and Dylan really do have amnesia. No wonder the divorce never happened. I'll even overlook that slap you gave me last time. To protect both companies' stock prices, our memory loss had been kept secret. I had no clue how she'd sniffed it out. You must be dying to know how the two of you got along before you forgot. I'd heard Julian fired her, after which her father locked her up for a month. She must have lost her mind, now she wanted to wreck our marriage. I told Harrison to throw her out. She didn't even flinch. Corporate marriage alliance, lifelong rivals who couldn't stand each other. You were on your way to sign divorce papers when you crashed. Don't believe me? Read this. Every word sounded carved in stone. For a moment I couldn't tell truth from lie. I took the folder she offered. The words divorce agreement leaped off the page. At the bottom were signatures, mine and Julian's, no question. The date matched the day of the crash. My head throbbed as I stared, and in one electric second every memory snapped back. I remembered, bastard, we really were lifelong rivals. Julian and I had been at war since birth. When I was a month old, he bragged to preschool classmates that he had a baby sister, snuck me into his backpack, and nearly smothered me. In kindergarten he planted a frog on my backpack. The thing jumped straight onto my face when I unzipped it, almost scaring me to death. In grade school he'd just learned to ride a bike and offered me a spin. We crashed, face first, knocking out my wiggly front tooth. I hurt for 3 days and nights. At Ellis, my secret crush was leaving for college. I clutched my goodbye letter, but Julian intercepted me and I missed the guy's last day. His crimes could fill a book. All I felt for him was pure hatred. I thought we'd mellow with age. Freshman year he told anyone who'd listen that I had chronic gas, scaring off every potential date and ruining my 4-year mate selection window. My Ice Queen image shattered overnight. I beat him black and blue. After graduation we each took over our family empires. I was ruthless, he was vindictive. On every deal we poached from each other until heads bled. Our relationship hit sub-zero. A year ago the families forced a corporate marriage alliance. To spite me, he hired Bianca as his executive assistant. I retaliated by bankrolling a 6'3" college angel. We signed a pact, after the wedding, live and let live. Until a month ago, divorce papers in hand, we crashed. Both clans scrambled to save the union, pulling every stunt in the book. Furious, I stormed his headquarters. As I passed reception, the receptionist beamed, "Good afternoon, Mrs. Vance." "Mr. Vance is in his office." I froze mid-step, backed up, and said coldly, "From now on it's Ms. Vance." "Why yes, Ms. Vance." The elevator climbed, floor by floor, until it opened on Julian's level. My fingers brushed the door handle just as familiar laughter floated out. "Julian, you're hooked on faking amnesia. When are you coming clean to wifey?" His best friend, Chase. Faking amnesia? My hand slipped off the handle. I held my breath. Julian flicked his lighter, smirking. "You wouldn't understand, married couple roleplay." My mind went blank. I froze. I didn't hear the rest. So these days he'd been treating me like a trained monkey. Deceit crashed over me in a suffocating wave. He'd remembered long ago, if he'd ever forgotten at all. He'd gambled his own body just to settle the score. No wonder he'd looked so twitchy when I said my memories were nearly back. That last business trip was probably fake too. The thought of everything we'd done in bed made me sick. He must have been gloating the whole time. Damn it. Rage was useful, but the need to crush my rival flared hotter. Divorce on hold. Revenge first. I left his building and drove straight home. On my phone I ordered a few miscellaneous items, then had them couriered over. Late night. I stepped out of the shower and slid under the covers. I glanced at the clock and counted down from 5. Click, the door opened exactly on cue. Same black bespoke suit, same measured stride as he crossed the room. Seeing me awake, he softened his voice. "Honey, I missed you so much while I was away." I snickered inside. Sure, missed torturing me. To keep the act alive, I played along, looping my arms around his neck. "I missed you too." The word honey refused to leave my throat. He loosened his tie, brow raised, lips curving. "Let me shower first." "Sure, but I'd love to see you in this." "Will you?" From under the blanket I produced the black mesh see-through bodysuit. Julian's brow lifted, surprise flashing before a wicked grin took over. "You're into this game? Fine, I'll indulge you." He took it casually and stepped into the bathroom. Water drummed against tile, steam curling out, thickening the air with damp heat. Minutes later the door opened. He emerged soaked, black mesh glued to every plane and ridge, skin-chilled marble under a slick sheen, ascetic yet obscene. My lungs seized, my gaze fused to him. The effect outranked every fantasy I'd sketched. I had to admit, Julian's body was top-tier hardware. But the next second I remembered exactly why I was here. The last trace of romantic haze evaporated from my eyes. All that remained was the ruthless drive to win this round. I drew out my last syllable in a sugary wheedle. His Adam's apple bobbed once, violently, and the color of his irises darkened, a storm of barely leashed turbulence rolling across the black depths. All right, bring this too. I pinched the carefully chosen body chain between my fingers, and Julian obediently lowered his head. I threaded the fine links along his collarbones, let my knuckles brush his skin just long enough for the clasp to click shut. I issued the order like a despot. TCH. Julian had been right. He actually let out a choked whimper, tears spilling over. A man's tears, the finest aphrodisiac for a woman. I felt myself light up with pleasure. Later that night I dressed him in the butler roleplay costume. Same posture, same perfect compliance. This round, mine. That night I went to sleep utterly, gloriously satisfied. If he'd paid attention, he would have noticed I'd moaned only his name over and over. At the very end I looped an arm around his waist, pressed my cheek to his chest, and slipped into heavy sleep. When I woke again it was already 10 in the morning. I pushed myself up on aching arms, a dull throb pulsed through my lower back. Damn it. A classic case of 800 damage to the enemy, 1,000 to myself. Divorce. I was filing today. The bedroom door clicked. Julian walked in carrying a glass of warm water. He smiled. You're awake, honey. Drink some honey water, soothe your throat. Huh? Wasn't he the one who'd screamed himself hoarse last night? I cleared my schedule today to spend it with you. We're getting divorced. The two sentences collided midair. The room fell dead silent. The smile on his face froze, the hand holding the glass twitched, disbelief flooding his eyes. Did I do something wrong last night? Tell me what else you want me to wear, just don't say divorce. The last few words were almost a plea. I got my memory back. The glass jerked in his grip, warm water splashing across his shirt. His pupils contracted, shock was instantly replaced by naked fear. His jaw locked so tight I could see the tendons stand out, knuckles blanching around the cup, the whole man rooted in place like a statue of panic. When his voice came out strangled, a tremor threading through it. Yesterday. I tugged one corner of my mouth into a smirk. Last night was deliberate payback. You were right, hearing your lifelong rival moan beneath you really is exhilarating. His face drained of color. You heard everything? What do you think? I lifted my gaze and stared straight into the chaos in his eyes. Julian, I despise being lied to. Let me know when you're free so we can sign the papers. The house is yours, I'll be out by the end of the day. Without waiting for an answer I strode to the closet, swept the neatly folded clothes into my suitcase, and walked out without a backward glance. Back home. Only Harrison and Mrs. the housekeeper were in the manor. Mom and Dad had left on a trip 10 minutes earlier. Looks like Julian had tipped them off. Lying alone on the vast bed, I was ambushed by an inexplicable wave of heartsoreness. During the amnesia days he had been gentle and thoughtful, cooking for me after work, stepping in to tidy company business, bringing me gifts from every business trip, and shockingly in sync in bed. Could I actually have fallen for him? Impossible. I crushed the thought the instant it surfaced. He and I are lifelong rivals. Who falls for their sworn enemy? While I was wrestling with that, my phone buzzed. WhatsApp. Julian. I opened it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied. I actually recovered my memories the day I left the hospital. I thought it over and I have to say it. I love you. Can we not divorce? Or at least give me a chance to win you back? He loves me? My brain felt like it had been stuffed with tangled yarn, buzzing nonstop. I stared at the screen forever, fingers hovering over the keyboard, unable to type a single letter. Right then Leo called. Serena, Mr. Vance just sent us several projects, including the renewable energy deal he was fighting us for 3 months ago. Do we take them? Leo had been my senior back at Ellis. When he returned to the States last year, I lured him in as project manager with an obscene salary. Take them, every last one. Free money doesn't knock twice. Aren't you afraid it's a trap? Nope. In the old days I'd scrutinize anything Julian offered. Leo hesitated. All right. Oh, and Serena, how's the recovery going? All good. I'll be back at headquarters tomorrow. Thanks for steering the ship this past month, senior. Raise incoming once I'm in the office. Leo chuckled. Alex. After hanging up I went downstairs for lunch. Mrs. the housekeeper had just set a steaming carp and tofu soup on the table. The fishy aroma slammed into my nostrils like a freight train. Ugh. I gagged, face blanching. I shoved the chair back and bolted for the powder room, retching over the sink until the spasms passed. Strange, this soup used to be my favorite. As I rinsed my mouth, a terrifying possibility struck me. My period was weeks late. And more than once Julian had skipped protection. No way, could I actually be pregnant? Miss, are you all right? Shall I call the family doctor? Mrs. the housekeeper hovered, worried. I'm fine, just an upset stomach. Back at the table I stuck to the blandest dishes. After lunch I slipped out and bought 3 different brands of home pregnancy tests. The sticks glared back with 2 bright pink lines. I almost cried. Still unwilling to believe, I grabbed a cab to the hospital. When the doctor smiled and said, "Miss Vance, congratulations, you're 4 weeks along," my vision blacked out. Oh, for God's sake. I'm actually carrying my lifelong rival's baby. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Should I get rid of it? But I couldn't bring myself to. For a moment I couldn't decide. In the end I called Julian. I'm pregnant. What do we do with the baby? The breathing on the other end of the line froze, then a flurry of rustling burst through. His voice was trembling, half disbelief. Serena, really? Where are you? I'll come pick you up. No need. When do we file the divorce papers? Serena, can we not divorce? There was a humility in his tone I'd never heard before. If we don't, then this baby gets terminated. The words shot out of me, even I froze for half a second. All that remained was seething anger. The air went dead silent for a long beat. Only then did Julian speak slowly, tomorrow. Don't touch the baby. Fine. 9:30 tomorrow morning at the City Hall Marriage Bureau, don't be late. Middle of the night. I was drifting in and out of sleep when my phone blared. Chase's voice spilled through as soon as I answered. Hey, sis, sorry to wake you. I rolled my eyes irritably. Julian's wasted and throwing a fit, says he won't go home unless he sees you. A moment later Julian's slurred voice floated over. Chase, don't bother her sleep. I gave a cold laugh, voice cutting, then let him drop dead out there. I hung up with a slap of my thumb, irritation flooding me. Yet a few seconds later my heart melted without permission. Whatever, I couldn't really let him die outside. I resigned myself, got up, and changed clothes. I told Chase to drop me the address. I reached Velvet, shoved the door open, and a thick wall of liquor smell hit me. My gaze swept the room and landed on Julian half reclined on a sofa, empty bottles scattered around him like shattered armor, making his silhouette look even lonelier. Sis, you're finally here, then I'll split. Chase bolted like smoke. Hearing the commotion, Julian's head tilted slightly, lashes fluttering. He pried his eyes open, pupils cloudy with leftover drunkenness. Hey, get up, let's go home. I frowned, disgust written all over me. He stumbled toward me. Arms snaked behind me and circled my waist. Babe, you finally came for me. With that, his fluffy head nuzzled into the crook of my neck. Me? My whole body locked up, my anger was doused in an instant. Yet an inexplicable tingle spread through my chest. My tone softened without notice. Come home with me. Okay, babe. Quinn, he followed me obediently. Little did I know, the second I turned around a calculating glint flashed across his eyes. After I hauled him home, I started to leave, but a drunk Julian caught my wrist. Babe, don't go, sleep with me. My brain overheated, against all odds I stayed. He burrowed into my arms, head nestled against my breasts, and within minutes his breathing leveled out in deep slumber. I didn't sleep a wink the entire night, divorce resolutions and tender feelings yanking me back and forth. In the end we didn't divorce. Both sets of parents heard about the pregnancy from Julian and flat out forbade a split. The divorce was tabled for the moment. Julian started showing up at my place every single day, rain or shine. He claimed it was so the baby could get familiar with Dad. At first I found him annoying, later I quit caring. As long as he wasn't being a jerk, it was, actually kind of nice. When I was hungry, someone cooked. When I was tired, someone massaged my shoulders. He even tossed me several foolproof $100 million projects. I casually mentioned the osmanthus cakes in South Riverdale were delicious, and the man drove halfway across the city to bring me a box. For the sake of my diet he actually studied and earned a nutritionist certificate. With that kind of drive, he'd succeed at anything he tried. Today was my birthday. He cleared his schedule and took me to the newly opened Starlight, where we went wild all day. When I was little my parents were buried in work. I always envied classmates whose folks took them to theme parks. Listening to their show and tell in kindergarten, I hid in corners and cried more than once. Little Julian comforted me. Don't cry, when we grow up I'll build a park just for you. That evening we sat side by side on the lawn. The park lights clicked on row by row when suddenly a sharp crack split the sky. Boom, whistle, so beautiful. Clusters of fireworks shot upward and burst open, golden red blossoms spread across the night, and for an instant 5 glittering words appeared: Julian loves Serena. I instinctively held my breath, gasps from the crowd drilled into my ears. Whoa, which tycoon is flexing this time? So romantic, I'm posting this online. What would happen if the world had one more rich person? System crash. I couldn't help a snort. Lifting my eyes, I met Julian's unwavering gaze. He declared earnestly, Serena, this theme park was built and given to you. I love you. Can I get a shot at being your real husband? My heart cramped, hammering like a war drum. My nose stung. In a trance I nodded. The instant I did, Julian's tenderness surged into scorching joy. His Adam's apple bobbed hard. Fingers taut, he pulled a diamond engagement ring from his pocket and slid it firmly onto my ring finger. Now you're not allowed to take it off lightly. The next moment he cupped the back of my neck and sealed my lips with his, forceful yet gentle. The instant they touched, fresh fireworks exploded overhead. I don't know how long the kiss lasted. When he finally eased away, I was so weak I could barely stand. He scooped me into his arms and carried me toward the suite. After he set me on the bed, he shamelessly begged me to help him. 1 hour later, I glowered at him and hissed, Julian, you bastard. He chuckled softly, carefully clasping my wrist. Baby, the bastard will rub it better for you. Baby, the bastard will take you to shower. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting episode. See you next time.